and it just doesn't make any sense. It's just like hokey. But it's
Some
all in
somehow you
there.
just press
Well,
somehow you just press
and just like,
print
what
on
did they
the.
come up with this? Somebody just came up with it, and they just said, okay, if we give you $1, then you can accrue 75 cents from that dollar and put that in the bank and still spend the whole dollar, and then off of that you can also another 90% off, so 75%, and build that separately, but still be able to use the whole dollar. So the dollar ends up being $1.75 somehow.
Yeah, that, and then you can press print on the money machine.
You're just like, what? And the dollar to begin with wasn't anything. The dollar to begin with was just paper. We're just talking about. And there's one
Well, that's
part
why I've
where
been trying to tell you about that. You know, when I
you save a bunch of pennies is what I'm doing. If you save a bunch of pennies in a big jar and save like 100 pounds of pennies or something like that, you'll get way more money if you melt the copper than
except it's not copper anymore.
Huh?
It's not copper anymore. It's like steel coat.
I know.
Copper
I'm just talking about if they were copper pennies. Let's say they were copper pennies like they used to be. You would get more money. They were worth more. They cost more to make.
They're worth more as the copper.
Yeah. It costed more to make. They're worth more in copper than they were as a penny. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't want to put anything of value in the people's hands. Well, that's kind of goes into. Remember I was telling
you can take your pennies. You were better off to collect a bunch of pennies back in the day when they were copper, and have them melted down for the cash.
Well, don't put any metals that are of value in the people's hands. But that's why I was telling you what Reba is. It's like when you put money in the bank and they make money off your money, but they don't do anything.
Yeah.
Or they make money from lending you money.
Yeah.
And then you're like Reba McIntyre.
Yeah, that's what banks are. You put your money in the bank.
Well, those kind of.
They take that money. They take that money and they invest it in things and try to make interest on it. And
I think those are some of the like transactions that are like in Islam. Those are the haram transactions, the forbidden transactions, and Jews were like the big innovators of it.
I don't know what happens when they lose the money. Like they say their investment is bad.
It came down to Babylon. It's like it might even be what the fallen angels brought down to Babylon. You know how the angels had to come teach.
The whole thing, but anyway, the whole thing is just stupid, and that's what this movie is about. And then it goes to this colony that is no money whatsoever. And everything is automated with robots. And there's no working. But there's still like trades. There's artists and gardeners and farmers and, it's not just people sitting on their ass. But they can do whatever they want. And they give their shit away.
These 2,000-page documents, the Sunnah, that's how life. It's talking about how life was when they did fair. All they used was gold coins and then bartering.
Yeah.
Bartering, trading. Because
well,
if all you grow is corn, you got to trade the corn for other goods. So if you need barley, then you trade your corn for barley, and then that's how you would get a variety of things. You would have your trade, and then you go into the market and you could sell it for gold dinar and silver dirham, or you barter it for other things that you
Who
need.
decides how much? Who decides how much barley you get for
Setting the prices?
corn?
I think there's some guidelines for setting the prices even in the Sunnah.
Like how much is a bushel of corn as far as barley? And how much barley you get per bushel of corn? And how do they figure that out?
They might just agree on it. There was a. I know they said a certain amount of gold was always worth a donkey, and no matter there's never inflation, so the same amount of gold it costs to buy a donkey 1,000 years ago would be the same amount of gold it would cost to buy a donkey today. So like all the prices are pretty much the same. Some of it might be influenced by the supply, but hoarding and monopolizing is illegal in Islamic law.
Somehow they found a shitload of gold somewhere, then all the gold wouldn't be worth much. I miss that. The same thing with the diamond people. If they find a shitload of diamonds somewhere, they don't tell anybody. Because the whole reason diamonds are expensive is because there's not that much of them. So they'll like...
Yeah, and gold's not going to be worth anything if there's no food. Right. Yeah, if there's no food and you got a bunch of gold, the gold's not going to be worth much. It's just...
Yeah.
You can trade
That's
food.
What trade it for.
You can trade food for food, or
you can't fucking eat gold.
I think you can.
Actually,
I think you're allowed to like.
But you know what? In the end, it is always worth something for electrical